Well, good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, my friends all across the globe today, and welcome back to a little bit of a two-part series. Okay, so we're revisiting that Aviary DLC that everyone seems to be very excited about, and I was thinking, hey, what if Frontier actually splits it off into two different packs? It's kind of going to be a conglomeration of both, their continental packs, as well as, the aquatic pack, which was more of a quote-unquote feature pack. So today we're actually going to be making the Old World Aviary DLC. The way that I see this, Frontier would probably split it off in between New World and Old World, with 8 animals all together. Specifically for Old World, I could imagine 2 large animals, 4 medium-sized animals, and 2 quote-unquote walkthrough animals with no exhibit animals. Exhibit animal fans, listen, I'm so sorry. But today we're actually going to get started with my ideal list for this Old World Aviary pack. I would love to see the lesser flamingo be like a headliner for the pack. These guys are extremely beautiful, and they're probably one of my favorite flamingo species. These guys are found all over India as well as Africa, and they're just impressive to look at. They're very small, so do keep that in mind. Even though they are kind of like the quote-unquote large animal in here, I only put them there because flamingos kind of fit that bill. Get it, Bill? Speaking of bills, I also have the shoe bill in here. If you guys don't know, the shoe bill is probably one of my other favorite birds. These guys are menacing, and I feel like they're a fan favorite amongst the entire community. Having these guys in the game would be a wonderful thing, not only to give them a little bit more, recognition as a species, but also because of their conservational value. These guys are probably very much like the proboscis monkey in this rate, because they are a very unique looking species, but they represent so much more than that. So I feel like that would be a wonderful addition to have. And with all that being said, we're moving on to our medium-sized animals. These guys would be in their own separate aviaries, all that kind of jazz, but they're not really the big ones. They're not really requiring that much space. So number 1 on the list, I do have a vulture species. I don't have any specific care in the world to which vulture we would get, but for example, I have rupels, I have the griffin vulture, I have the white-backed vulture, and I have the bearded vulture. All of these are probably some of the most interesting ones that you could probably come up with. I know, for example, the white-backed one is a very, very, very popular one amongst African zoos and stuff like that. They're very popular in African sections, as well as the bearded vulture with its beautiful orange plumage. These guys are menacing, and they look like dinosaurs, to be quite honest. So if we do get these guys instead of an Extinct Animals DLC, I wouldn't be the most upset at that. But moving on from there, I also have the African gray parrot. These guys are extremely beautiful, and they're very common amongst the pet trade, but they're also pretty common in zoos as well. Being one of the most recognizable parrot species from the Old World is very important to these species. They're impressive, and they're probably one of the most intelligent birds out there in the entire world. These guys are insane to look at. They're insane to interact with in person. They can actually imitate you. I think they could actually memorize up to 140 words. Don't quote me on that. I know someone will correct me in the comments down below, but they are very impressive, as well as the Indian ring-necked parakeet. These guys are beautiful as well. They come in bright blue and green colors, and they're very identifiable via their red bill, as well as a ring around their neck. I always wanted these guys as pets until I realized how expensive birds actually are, but these guys are incredibly beautiful, and I feel like they represent India extremely well. Their colors and sounds would go so well in a pack like this. Moving on from there, speaking of India, I also have the Great Indian Hornbill. These guys are huge, even though I, kind of lump them in the medium category in here. They're very impressive to see in person. They have these beautiful yellow bills, and they are just staggeringly huge. They are so impressive to see. They're usually kept in solo cages, which I feel like is kind of cool, but they're also very versatile, and they're just so dynamic creatures. I just really do love that. So moving on from there, I also have 2 quote-unquote walkthrough animals. Nothing really too crazy over here. I more so prioritize walkthrough animals in this New World. DLC. We'll get to that next week, so be sure to stay tuned for that. But I have the African Sacred Ibis as the first one. These guys are beautiful. If you guys have not already seen Bongo Hardwood's mod, definitely go check it out because it's a beautiful representation of the species. But I would love some official ones as well. The African Sacred Ibis has this beautiful coloration. They just look extremely unique, and I feel like they would flesh out any African section in any zoo to the best of their abilities. They are incredible, and ibis are some of my favorite creatures in the entire world. I love their fancy little long bill, and they would make a wonderful addition in a pack like this. Alongside the Bali Myna, this one is more so in Southeast Asia, which I feel like we don't really have too many good representations in within this pack, but I feel like the Bali Myna is a beautiful one at that. These guys have beautiful white and blue plumage. Not blue plumage, but they do have blue accents. You guys can see the picture of them on screen right now. They're incredibly beautiful creatures. We have them at pretty much every single zoo around here, so that's a very awesome thing to keep in mind. But I would just love to have these guys. They have some impressive looking feathers, and I would love to have these guys as an aviary species in this DLC. But moving on from there, the new aviary style. Alright, so new exhibit type would be aviaries. They'd be kind of like JWEs, except a lot more freeform from what I could tell. You could probably outline them and then would connect the mesh in the middle. But this one in specifically, I would say it would be a lot more old, maybe a little bit more classic styles. Think metal, chain link, etc. You guys can see the images on screen right now. That would be ideal for this kind of pack, in my opinion. I feel like having the old clash with the new would be a wonderful thing to have. So we'll actually get to all that new aviary stuff later down the line next week, but I would also love to see this be used for normal animals as well. A lot of the times you'll see some big cats and stuff be kept in quote-unquote aviaries. More so netted enclosures is what they're more so referred to, but I would love to see the versatility of this new enclosure type be used to the maximum ability as possible. Now moving on through here, I also have new perches. These would be kind of like the new climbing enrichments that we now get. I would love to see a lot more naturalistic ones, more so like, you know, kind of stemming from the idea that you're making natural looking aviaries with branches, twigs, and stuff like that. So I would love to see a lot more organic forms of perching and stuff like that, so that'd be a great thing to have as well. Overall, I think this pack would focus more so on non-walkthrough species via props and enrichment. I would love to see, you know, a lot more education be put in place. I would love to see a lot more, like, you know, even like fake education boards I feel like would be really great to have as well. Nothing too crazy, nothing with like real text on there, but I would love to see a lot of that stuff. But hey, that's my opinion. I'm always curious to see what you guys have to say about packs like this. Was there anything that I missed? I know I missed quite a few amount of animals, but I thought that I made a very well-rounded list. If you would disagree, let me know in the comments down below. I always love seeing you guys pop up in there. But all that being said, hope you guys enjoy your weekend. Let's hope we do get an aviary DLC pretty soon, and I'll see you guys in the next episode. Take care and have the most wonderful of wonderful days. Bye-bye now.